Galal Yafai, quite widely defeated on the scorecards by Francisco Rodriguez. First question I put to you, do you think there was a case to be made for Galal being pulled out of that fight at any stage?
Yeah, Rob had the towel in his hand in the last round. It was becoming quite uncomfortable, I thought, the last 2 or 3 rounds. Sonny Edwards was commentating with us, and he was getting pretty emotional. He shared a lot of rounds with Galal Yafai. I think Galal was so brave tonight, possibly even too brave for his own good at times, but he just desperate to get to the final bell. So in some ways, I'm glad he did, but it was really hard in those last sort of 10-15 minutes. Really, it was all one-way traffic. After Galal, he'd had a wobbly start, but he might have nicked a round or two. He got himself together, and I like the fact that he kept in there and he was so committed. But Francisco Rodriguez, what a performance away from home, first time in Britain, a smile on his face. He loved the build-up, and he was absolutely relentless from start to finish. He deserved it. It was a great away win, a wonderful night for the Mexicans, and it's terrific when we see that sometimes. And there's been a few upsets lately, live on DAZN in the last few weeks. There's been some fantastic fight nights, and this was another one. So yeah, it's just great for the fans that we see these battles where you don't know who's going to win, and Galal will have learnt so much tonight. But it was a case, I think, of a very good amateur in with a very, very good hardened professional who almost wound back the ears as well tonight. Rodriguez was brilliant.
So much to unpack from tonight. I'd love to pick your brain further on it, but we are pressed for time, and I want to get your thoughts on this sauna gate, the situation where the British Boxing Board of Control are investigating Chris Eubank Jr.'s weight cutting process before the fight with Conor Benn. I mean, it's split opinion. A lot of people are saying perhaps the board's views on weight making are perhaps slightly outdated, although it does come with a healthy first mindset. Other people are saying, Chris didn't look himself in there. They'd be worried about similar weight stipulations in the rematch. What are your thoughts on all of it?
I'd rather talk about TMA and how brilliant she was and Pat Brown.
She deserves a shout out, you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought Peter McGrail also boxed really well. I can't believe one of the judges was a draw. I thought he was fantastic tonight. So look, it was a brilliant night here. As far as the sauna issue, it's difficult, right? The board have got rules. Chris put that on social media. He was obviously struggling to make that weight. And I think, look, on the back of what was a ferocious first fight, could we see it at the same stipulated weight, or do we want to have it 2 or 3 pounds heavier maybe to give Eubank less of a struggle? Can Conor Benn do that? They've got to work that out. But it is a difficult one, and fighters work very, very hard to make weight. So it's a tough one, but the board have got rules, and they've got to take that into consideration. Fighters have got to be looked after. Health and safety is the most important thing. So you're always going to have split opinion about this, whether the rules are right or wrong. But if that's what the boards say, that's what they say, and they've got to follow them through. So yeah, let's see what happens there. I'm more interested in the rematch, which is going to happen, I think, in September, probably maybe October, but I think it will happen. But I'm just more interested in what weight it's going to happen at, because I didn't like to see Chris struggle as much as he did, and I think he gutted it out in the last part of that fight. I think Conor learnt a lot from the first fight too. I mean, I've talked to a few fans earlier who think Conor Benn wins the rematch. So yeah, maybe it should be at a slightly different weight.
Last thing, we are seeing reports that it could be Jospeh Parker, Derek Chisora 3. Mixed reception, I think, to say the least. Would you be up for seeing that again?
Look, I like watching Joe Parker in any fight. I think he's fantastic. I think what he's done with his career under Andy Lee has been amazing. Derek wants one more. Derek could fight anyone. I think I'd probably... I mean, it's weird because Moses Atama's now fighting Dillian White. I think I would like to have seen Derek fight Dillian White. Dave Allen's now in there. What's he going to do?
Think of the Dave Allen, Jospeh Parker rumours as well.
That's a massive fight for Dave and a huge jump. But after the Johnny Fisher win, he's got to take the best fights and the biggest money available. I think there's talk as well of TKV maybe for the British title in Sheffield, which would be a great homecoming for Dave. But if he gets an opportunity to fight Jospeh Parker, he's got to take it. So yeah, look, there's some really interesting fights ahead in the heavyweight division. I'm upset that Hughie Fury's not fighting next week in Hull. That's a shame, but there's so much. Lawrence Okoli, of course, back on the bill. The Usyk Dubois massive night at Wembley. So lots happening in the heavyweight division. Let's see how it all unfolds. But yeah, there's big fights galore in the autumn, and that's going to be fantastic for the fight fans. I just spoke to Eddie. I think we're going to have Donovan and Crocker's rematch as well. I think Dalton Smith will get his world title shot. So yeah, I was just Adam Azim messaged me today. I'm looking forward to seeing him soon. And there's just so much going on at the moment, and it's fantastic. And I'll see you in Hull next week for a big GBM show. Brad Ray, Conor Walker's big mate, in with Shakan Pitters. We've also got Gladys Krause on the bill. That's fantastic. And Shaq Thompson back, and Sean McComb. Great night should be next week in Hull.
Adam Smith, always great for the time. Safe home. Cheers.
Cheers.